For our Project 3, we'll be going over 4 kinds of insulation: spray foam, fiberglass bat, rock wool, and denim. During our project, we decided to take a trip to Menards so we can show some physical samples of each type of insulation. During this trip, we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the pros, cons, and different qualities that make each insulation unique. First, we'll be going over spray foam. Laura's here to talk about what makes spray foam different from other insulation.
Spray foam, otherwise known as polyurethane foam, is a chemical compound made up of isocyanate and polyol resin, which is a type of sprayed insulation used in buildings. There are 2 types of spray foam, open cell and closed cell. Open cell is much less dense than closed cell and is used to get into hard-to-reach cavities in the ceilings. An example here is the Great Stuff Pro series, which is a type of spray foam that is used for gaps and cracks, which can be used in attics or ceiling cavities. While both open and closed cell spray foam both help to regulate temperature, closed cell is much more dense, has a higher water resistancy, and is able to help cancel out noise. With that being said, closed cell has a much higher R value for insulation. This is an example of a DIY sealant spray foam kit. This kit costs roughly $350 and covers about 200 square feet. It includes an applicator gun, hose, fan, and cylinders. Unlike other insulations, spray foam can be used to create airtight seals in hard-to-reach cracks that other types of insulations cannot reach. This can help save up to 30% with brands like Dow on heating and cooling costs by preventing air infiltration, as well as preventing water from leaking in. It's very important to remember when doing a DIY project for spray foam to keep your PPE on, especially your protective gloves and glasses. When using this type of spray foam, it's very important to remember to not install in extreme temperatures and weather conditions. When using the can, you first shake for 1 minute vigorously, and then you invert the can upside down and place it onto this foam applicator gun. You can adjust the flow control screw on the back of the foam applicator gun, as shown on the back here, to an open position. Immediately press the trigger to fill applicator gun with foam while dispensing into an appropriate waste receptacle. Keep the can fully inverted during the entire time of your usage. You can use the flow control screw to adjust the bed size, and you can tighten the flow control screw until fully closed for storage. This can be used for up to 30 days from the initial usage. When you're storing this can, make sure that you store it upright with the foam applicator gun attached. To reuse it within the initial 30 days, make sure that you shake well for the next usage for installation.
Now we'll be taking a look at fiberglass insulation. This will show you how to install it, what makes it unique, and how to be safe when installing it.
Fiberglass insulation is insulation made from melted glass that is put into strands and then put into bats. It can be used in the cavities of walls and is usually cut to size so that it can be fit into the wall with a utility knife. This specific insulation is R15, which is on the higher side of insulation quality and is a little bit more expensive than other types of insulation. This R15 roll covers about 23 square feet. So if I were to be installing this type of insulation, as shown on the directions, I would use my utility knife to cut the bat insulation as needed. Rolls like these are already pre-cut, so it's easy to stick them inside the stud cavities. You would unroll it, stick it inside the stud cavity like shown. Fiberglass insulation is a very user-friendly material and is easy for a DIY project. Some tools you'll need for your project to install and for safety include a straight edge, a dust mask, a tape measure, eye protection, a knife, gloves, long sleeves and loose-fitting clothing, and a stapler. The reason for long sleeves and loose-fitting clothing is because fiberglass insulation is microscopically cutting your skin if you touch it. Therefore, it can be very dangerous if you're not careful with touching it. So as you can see here, approximately 23 square feet costs around $6 for calculations you can use in your own home. So what makes fiberglass insulation a little more dangerous than other types of insulations is that it's not very soft to the touch. Therefore, it's important to use PPE, such as gloves, long, loose-fitting clothes, and even in some cases, if you're a contractor or even you're doing it at home, a respirator mask. This will keep those little tiny microscopic fibers out of your lungs, which can do permanent damage. So for fiberglass insulation, you got three options, two of which are in front of me. I got my bats right here and my rolls right here, and you can also have loose fill fiberglass insulation, which can be blown. But right now we're going to focus on the bat and the rolls. So your bat insulation, as you can see, it's about 16 inches wide, which is perfect for fitting in between your studs. And it comes with a cover or no cover. While your rolls also comes with the option of no cover or cover. Depending on how wide the roll is, you may also need to cut that to fit your studs as well.
Now Barry's going to tell us a little bit about rock wool insulation. He'll go over what makes its manufacturing process unique, specific properties it has, and how you can use it in your own home safely.
The rock wool insulation is made from leftover particles from the steel and stone industry. It's a very eco insulation and it is used from recycled materials. As you can see here, it is 70% recycled. This means that it's left over from the steel and stone industry. They use the salt rock and slag from this industry. This is then, the stone are then melted at 1500 degrees Celsius in a big oven. After the rock wool leaves the oven at 1500 degrees Celsius, it is then transferred to a spinning machine, which whips it into a substance that looks like cotton wool. From there, a binding solution is added to hold it together. They add oil to it to make the rock wool insulation repellent to water. This makes it impermeable to water. They then layer it. A pendulum device then layers it to the required thickness, such as here it is 15 inches. So this means it would be layered maybe twice or three times. It is then brought through rollers to make it dense. This makes it less sound go through, and increases the sound performance and keeps heat in. It is then cut into required shapes, such this is 3 foot thickness and 47 inches length. The rock wool insulation has an R value of 15, as can be seen here. It has a thickness of 3.5 inches and a width of 15 inches. This means it's ideal for going in between wood studs. It's also used in roofs and floor insulation as well. But this main product here, with the Pink Panther on it, is of this sort of product here, is mainly for exterior walls of wood studs. Insulation can withstand heat of up to 2000 degrees Celsius. It's also fire resistant and an excellent sound performance. It's also 70% recycled and is made from the steel industry. The directions for installation of this product is measure and cut. It is easy to cut with a knife, and it's for custom fitting around electrical boxes, pipes, ductwork, wiring between non-standard studs. It's then squeezed and inserted. It is held in place by friction and no adhesive or glue. And then you release it and it expands and holds itself together by the friction. This is what the insulation looks like. You are meant to be wearing gloves, installing this, and long, loose-fitting clothing. This stops the insulation from getting at your skin, as it can be quite itchy and uncomfortable.
Now Hal will be giving us a look at denim insulation and how to install it, as well as what makes it unique.
Denim insulation, also known as natural cotton fiber insulation, is modern insulation material. Denim insulation in construction area. Also, they can DIY at home to install the insulation, and also this denim insulation have good in thermal protection, and it's also very good in sound absorption, and is very it can provide a very quiet environment for the user. It's very safe for people to use denim insulation because the raw material is made by recycled clothing with no pollution. Also, the cost about to using denim insulation generally is more expensive than other insulation material. Denim insulation is occurred for use viper barrier to install the denim insulation. This denim insulation made by Ultra Touch and it's R19. Its coverage area is 48.55 square feet and for use with 2 by 6 40-inch stars. And there is no fiberglass items in this denim insulation, and its superior sound absorption. Also, it's 80% recycled content, and its energy-saving thermal performance. Now I will talk about installation instructions. First, give a quick shake to install and install this denim insulation between the stars by simply fit each bed firmly into the place, and you can cut it into what size you want. And the third, you can cut the denim insulation and fit with the vent lane and the electrical box, and use any leftover pieces to fit small opening around the doors and the windows. And the hazard warning, to avoid potential fire, don't place the denim insulation with 3 inches of non-installed light fixtures or electric fixtures because it's very easy to get burned if the denim insulation get too high temperature.
So after sharing some of our own research, we decided to go talk to an expert in the materials department. Next, we'll be seen talking to Logan, who will tell us a little bit about our values and what products he recommends for use in Tippecanoe County.
We have Logan here working at Menards in the building materials section, and we were going to ask him a few questions about insulation. So what is your most popular type of insulation here?
I would say our most popular, if you're doing attics, is going to be blow-in insulation, either cellulose or fiberglass. It's very popular around here. It's easy to install, quick, and not very messy.
What are like the standard R values for most of your products?
So if you're going into the attic with that blow-in insulation, it can reach anywhere from an R38 up to an R60. Obviously, the more you get, the better insulated your house is going to be. When you're looking at more of a wall insulation, we have anywhere from R13 up to R19. R19 has to have a 2x6 wall, where you can do up to an R15 and a 2x4 wall.
So what type of insulation would you recommend for building a house here in West Lafayette?
Personally, I like to have a little extra R value. The recommended minimum for Tippecanoe County is an R38 in the attic and an R13 in the walls. I would probably do like an R19 in the walls with 2x6 walls, and then do like an R45 in the attic.
With what type of product?
I prefer the fiberglass. Cellulose is nice because it's cheap, but the fiberglass is a longer lasting insulation. It won't compress over time, where the insulation will settle. The cellulose insulation will settle over time. Fiberglass won't do that so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.